as you can see, we got mud, we got snow, we got ice. Tristan and I have to go and get a cow named Brownie. That's that's the only purebred cow my wife has to her name. Well, we call it hers, but it's easy to find because it's actually brown, not red. So we got Tristan here, and we are going to go for a hike. We've parked our truck here. We're going to cut across the field because it's not as muddy, and then we're going to walk her in. So Tristan wants us to remind you, what month is it, Tristan?
April.
And what's April special about? Is it Autism Month?
Yep.
And Tristan is autistic, high functioning. His actual label is PDD-NOS, pervasive developmental disorder not otherwise specified, but in layman's terms, that is high functioning autism. But Tristan wants to remind people that it's Autism Month and to be aware that we don't all fit the same cookie cutter, and that our differences is what make us wonderful. So be patient with people within the community that you'll come in contact with, because they don't all have the same understanding of social cues and things like that, right, Tristan?
Yeah.
People are all different, aren't we?
Oh yeah.
And that's what makes us wonderful.
Yep.
So anyhow, just remember that April's Autism Awareness. So there's people in your lives that are autistic or have never been diagnosed with something in the autistic spectrum. So the autistic spectrum is huge. So like I said, just be patient with people you meet within the community and things. You don't know what they're dealing with in their own lives. Okay, we got our little chubby bodies walk down here to the cows. So we're still got ice here and muck everywhere. If you guys notice these 4 panels over here by the manure pile, there's a hydrant that sticks up there. And that hydrant, most of you guys know that I talked about, like there's the water there, and here's my dugout over there by my 69 Chevy. And that water goes from that dugout into my home where I have the pump in my basement, and then I run the water out, and then even at the working krells a half mile over, there's a pipeline that goes down there. The water's not fast, but it gets there, so I can have a water there. Before I just watered the animals on the dugout, and they crapped all in it, and by spring it was pretty green and gross. Anyhow, the relevance of this one here is I have bought a barn. It is 38 or 32 by 48 arched roof barn, and if you've seen some of my videos in my father's barn, you'll know the barn, because that's the barn I bought. My parents have made some decisions that means that they do not need that barn in that yard, and some other situations along with that, and we won't get too much into that, but I don't have $2 million, so I don't get to farm over there, we'll just say. But I bought the barn, so when it gets nice out, I'm supposed to be moving it now, but I'm gonna haul a pond bank over, and we're gonna build it up, and I'm gonna move the barn right over here. And then this summer I'm gonna build some krells so that I can have the purebreds sorted off in January, and when I calve, I don't have to go look through 300 head to find them. So, and then I can use the barn. If it's close there, I'll have a calving barn. So it's not very big, and it needs to be way bigger, but that's better than nothing, because right now the only things that have ever gone to the barn throughout calving season, I have literally had to load them in the stock trailer and haul them there. So we don't take things there. If it's just cold, nothing goes there. Only things that go there are problems. You know, twins, calf need to get pulled, that kind of stuff. Nothing goes there because it's just cold out. So that's the plan. So that's going to be a difference. It is just a wet mess, but like I said, we get 8 inches of rainfall a year is our annual rainfall. That includes snow moisture. So we are in a big wet mess. The cows are walking in shit 2 feet deep, or slop I should say, not the other word. So, but anyhow, Tristan and I have found Brownie, and we're gonna walk her in. And this straw here was for a windbreak when it was in one of our blizzards. So today that'll get spread out, and then the last of the big squares that I bought will get spread out. And I'd hoped I'd have straw till May, but I'm gonna run out. I've got some rounds left of peas straw and a little bit of wheat straw, and then I've got flax straw, and we're gonna use all of it. So anyhow, you can see some of the babies. I think we had 3 days where we had 3 calves a day, so it changed quite a bit. So now I think we're down to a dozen left to calve. And like I said, we've got a wreck. I've sold 12 cows that were dries that had lost their calves because they were big and fat. I've got a whole slug of heifers that lost calves. So it's kind of a wreck, but we call that starting over periods in life. So Tristan and I are gonna go get Brownie, and we'll bring you out and show you the water we're walking through. But you can see, here's a heck of a calf here, but like I said, if we'd had a barn, we might have been able to save his ears, even though we lost ears in the barn. You know, he's a heck of a calf, but he'll never be worth the $8,000 he should be worth because he doesn't have ears. But you can see what the straw looks like. Like we got some twine to pick up, but it's still frozen in. I tried gathering it last night. Anyhow, but the snow is coming out of the straw, so even though you make it look good and you think, oh, maybe it can hold a week, it can't because it starts to melt. So, but water just oozes out. But I'll just show you what the cow herd looks like over in the slough, and it's pretty sad. But we got to have straw so that the cows can at least lay down and some of the manure can come off their udders. So, but we're treating a few calves, a little bit for scours, some for pneumonia. But like I said, they got to suck the shit off the cow's udders, and that doesn't help anyone out. So, but in here, the tracks are so deep and frozen still that when you try to turn the tractor, like if you come in this way and follow along, you can't get turned around until you get over here. So it's kind of nasty, but this isn't a bitch video. This is just a loving what we're doing video. So up here, Tristan, we'll go grab Brownie and we'll start moving. So Tristan will stay on the other side for now, and we'll try to leave most things laying down, and then we'll just pop her up and walk her over. You can see this 258 is getting close to calving. She's a horny bugger. She rides everything that comes into heat. So I think it's pretty obvious who Brownie is. She's registered as a Red Angus, but in Canada we're quite color prejudiced, and in the States there's a lot more off-color Red Angus, but here they're not cherry red. It's not so popular, but all her calves are cherry red. But she raises heifer bulls, so it's not as if you're selling a bull that's, like all of her calves are nice and cherry red, but it's not like you're selling a bull that's gonna go out and they're gonna try to keep all these daughters and be surprised when they get an off color. So anyhow, we're gonna walk her out. You can see our water and ice and mud. We had the camera off, and Tristan and I don't always work perfectly together. Tristan and his thinking patterns, animal movement isn't there. That's not saying, oh, Tristan's dumb or something. No, it's just not his forte. He's not into that. And when he's not into it, he doesn't learn when you tell him to ease off and do things. That's not something he picks up. Where, you know, Jessica helped me get a cow in yesterday, and she just walked her in because she has her own sense of talent, just like we all do. So anyhow, Tristan and I don't always exemplify perfect family harmony while working together, but you'll never find someone that's more willing to help. So, and that's the main thing. Tristan's been doing this his whole life with me, and it's not his thing. He doesn't enjoy it at all. He doesn't get a sense of satisfaction from getting cows in or moving his body and stopping a cow. That doesn't bring him joy. So, and that's okay, because that's the real life world we live in, is not everything gratifies us that we do. And that's the problem that a lot of millennials, so to say, is what I'm hearing at job places, is these millennial kids, if they aren't being stimulated and getting their ego stroked 24/7, they quit their job because it didn't bring them joy. So, and Tristan hasn't quit me yet, and he's willing to learn, and we get better as we go. You can see where the neighbors bermed up the water to keep it out of their place, which is illegal. So, just be easy there, Tristan. Come over here, Tristan. There's rocks underneath me. Tristan struggles with his balance. He's not hearing impaired like Ty's hearing impaired and has balance issues, but Tristan's just always had balance issues with his motor skills. So he falls more than quote unquote regular Joes do. So we'll get this girl in here. I'm gonna have Tristan stay at this gate hole because that's easier than shutting it, and up towards that our one tree on the farm. I'll get Brownie in and then we'll lay iron. Hold on. Poop off my hands. Girl. Anyhow, we've only, I think, bred 25 heads so far. Like I said, we're not trying to breed a whole bunch, so we're only breeding purebreds. And then the heifers that we breed, it's only the purebred heifers. So like the commercial heifers are not getting serviced yet. So I just made sure I'm through the cervix. I'm in the uterine body. I just dispense the semen in, and then I take it out. So it's really not a hard concept, and especially what you find out is on cows that are truly in heat, it's easy. I have big arms, and heifers can be a challenge for me. So I keep telling Ty when he gets here, he gets to breed all the heifers. So anyhow, I'm gonna turn the camera around. So Tristan, what do you want to tell people about autism?
If you ever, people with autism have been picked on and have been treated badly because of bullying, and I'm here to...
Because sometimes it's not like people with Down syndrome, you can look at them and say, oh, that person has Down syndrome, but you found like it through high school because of course you didn't wear your Wascally Wabbit hat, but Tristan hates getting teased about his hat. Anyhow, but because you quote unquote look the same and everything, people just treated you different because you enjoyed movies and enjoyed video games and wanted to talk about that regardless of what class you're in, right?
Yeah, and if you do see someone who is being picked on, you should help them out, and maybe they have something in common, and you can probably be good friends with them.
Yeah, because no one likes to be bullied.
Yeah.
And it can be a lot of heartache, doesn't it, Tristan?
Yep.
So, anyhow, try to spin this around. Tristan was bullied in high school, and he was picked on, and he was treated poorly, and there was a group of kids that, you know, would seek out people that were different to help them out. But if you had something that made you look different, they would jump on board. But when you look the same and you know, didn't appear to have any physical abnormalities, you get picked on and you get pigeonholed and treated poorly. and people that think they're doing a smart-ass comment hurt you. So just remember that as you go out in your community, if you're younger and stuff, you know, you see people at school that don't fit in, talk to them. Might mean a lot to them. And us older people, you know, you go to Walmart and someone's struggling to help you that works there, give them a little time, because, you know, they don't have a sign that says they have Asperger's or autism or something on their backs, you know. They're just doing the best they can. So anyhow, be sure to comment, rate, and subscribe, and be kind to others. Take care.